For this video, we're going to talk about product selection, and that's something I get asked quite a bit. What product do I pick? How do I pick a product? Where do I pick a product? And I'll give you my methodology that I use when I come to pick something to sell. And this is based on my own mistakes as well, so it's cost me a lot of money to learn this. But this is what you find in e-commerce. You pay money out like water, and you learn lessons, and you learn by your mistakes, and you don't make the same mistake again. Hopefully at some point you'll get to a point where you make some money. So the first thing that I would say about product is pick something you're passionate about. If you don't like what you're selling and you don't feel it, you're not feeling the love of what you're selling, it's a waste of time. You won't be motivated to do anything. So pick something that you're vaguely enthusiastic about, that you can kind of get into, and you feel the love on that. It's my first tip. And if you do that, you'll be a lot more motivated to do things with that product and with your store, because you enjoy doing it. The second thing is pick something that is, I would say, in the $100 mark as a product. And the reason for that is if you've got 50% margin in it, let's say, that's $50 profit that you've got there. You've then got to take out your taxes, you've got to take out your operating costs of your store, the costs of your apps, the cost of your hosting. You've got to take off your marketing, and typically Facebook will run you $6 to $10 maybe as an advertising cost for each sale that you make. So you need a product that's got enough meat on the bone that when you take all of these things out of it, there's enough money left over that you actually make a profit. Also things like PayPal fees and currency conversions, they all take a chunk out of it. So, if you pick a product, I would put it into a spreadsheet, take all of these costs out of it realistically, and see what you're left with in terms of a profit. And my own experience has been $100 is about where it's at. I sell lingerie, for example, $20, $20 to $40. And I rely on the average order value stacking up to be $40, $50 or $100 to make it profitable. Particularly if you're doing free shipping, you've got to take the cost of shipping out, or if you're drop shipping, you've got to take the cost of the shipping out of that as well. So real important to get a product that's got enough meat in it. When you take everything out, you're left with a profit. And if you can do that, you can really throw money at Facebook knowing it's going to cost you $6 or $10 for every sale you make. Who cares? Because there's enough profit in it for that. Pick something that Facebook is going to let you advertise. Don't do guns, don't do drugs, do it while you like in your private life, but Facebook are going to stop you advertising these things. They're not going to permit it. So if your route to market is with Facebook adverts, don't pick something that they're not going to allow you to advertise. It's just crazy, because how are you going to put it in front of people otherwise? Imagery. You need to give a little thought to the imagery of the product. If you have a supplier or a drop shipper that will provide you with good imagery over boring stock imagery, firstly, it saves you a whole load of messing around, having to take those images yourself and make images, and you just go ahead and use the images that the supplier provides. But they need to be sexy enough and interesting enough to appeal to the consumer. Not, if you're selling a handbag, or something like this, my glasses case, just that on a white background is the most boring thing ever. But if you can get a lifestyle shot, somebody opening it, looking into it, something that's more interesting. So if you're going to drop ship, pick a supplier that has the right images for the product that you're going to sell. The next tip is returns. Pick something that nobody is going to return. If you pick apparel, you are going to get a ton of returns, maybe 25% of returns. Reason being, people are stupid. I bought a small, although I'm built like an elephant, and it doesn't fit, so I'm going to send it back. In the United States, you have sort of all sales are final, so you can get around that to a degree. But if you're selling to Europe, the consumer has a right to send things back. They can be stupid, they don't need a reason, they can send it back and they can get their money back, and they can open a dispute if you don't give it to them. So picking something that you're not likely to get a lot of returns, like a skateboard. Who's going to send a skateboard back? It turns up and it's not a skateboard, so I want my money back. It's not going to happen. Or the only thing in those cases you'll get breakages, damages, or something like that, which is that's normal. But pick something that the consumer is very unlikely to send back. If you are drop shipping products like I am with apparel, you buy the product, you send it to the customer sends it back to you. Then what do? So you've paid for it, you've refunded their money, and you're stuck with it because you're drop shipping. You can't ship it out. The next order will be drop shipped as well. So that's kind of my tips. $100 price range, something that will not have returns. It's got enough meat in it, enough margin in it. It's sexy enough that people want to buy it. And in terms of product selection, pick something that people need. An example of that's food. Everyone has to eat. Everyone eats every day, 3 times a day, and they buy it. Day in, day out, people will buy food. And if you can pick a product, it doesn't matter really if it's in a saturated market, but if you can pick a product that people need and they need it repeatedly, a house or a car is maybe a one-off purchase. Clothing is a regular purchase. Aftershave or shaving equipment or gym equipment. Are more regular purchases. So you sell more of them, and you're more likely to be able to sell them in a saturated market. Pick something that is a little bit luxurious, maybe. And I sell lingerie. The thinking behind that is people don't mind paying a little bit more for it because they see it as a slight luxury. If it's a daily essential, people will go and they'll just look for the cheapest. They can get it from Walmart or they can get it from wherever, and they'll shop around until they find the cheapest. And you don't want to be in the market where everyone just wants the cheapest, because all that's going to happen is you're going to get customers that all they care about is price, and if you sell it for $1, they're going to want it for 50 cents. It's that type of customer. So my products they cost what they cost. They're nice things. If you want them, you pay for it. If you don't, then that's fine. The world is a big enough place that you don't have to discount things all the time, cut your throat on discounts. And I think that's quite important to, everyone tends to go in with discount apps and pop-ups saying, if you buy now, I'll give you 10% off. I don't give you anything off. If you want it, you buy it. And if I've made a mistake or I want to make you happy somehow, or, say sorry, then I might consider a discount. And there's enough meat in my product to do that. But discounts are not something I would normally do, and consider a product that has value as opposed to a product that has no value. It's not worth anything. That's pretty much it. When you're buying from a drop shipper, you also need to consider things like stock lists. Does the supplier that you're picking have a stock feed, for example? Because there's nothing worse than selling something that you don't have in stock if you're drop shipping. You sell the order, you come to ship it, supplier goes, we haven't got it, or it's 6 months delivery or whatever. So a supplier that offers a stock feed automatic to your store, really good thing. Suppliers that provide tracking information, again, really good thing. So we're not overly focusing on the product here, but we're focusing on a supplier that we can work with that also sells that product, because it makes our life a lot easier. If they have all of the stock imagery, for example, that's usable, that's great, because you don't have to take photographs. You're making our operation of the store a lot simpler, and maybe you can get the same product from 2 different suppliers, but you want to pick the supplier that you're able to work with better. I think that's really, really an important thing there. I can't sort of overestimate the importance of getting the right supplier. A lot of people approach it by going to AliExpress and seeing what products are out there, and then picking one, and they're the same one that everybody else has picked. And what I would tend to do would be to look at, kind of follow my methodology through. So you've got a number of products that you think, I can work with that product, that's going to work. And then look around at who sells it. And they don't need to come from China. If you're in the United States, find a supplier in the United States that sell it, because you can wave the flag, it's made in America, Trump loves you, there's no issue with, and now it's hammering down with a tropical storm here in the Bahamas. I don't know if you can hear that, see that, still see me, but the heavens have just opened. But if you can sort of wave the American flag, ship from the United States, say it's made in the United States, these are all things that are compelling for a United States buyer. They're sick of China, they're sick of the quality, they want to support America, you know, buy it, buy an American product, drop ship it out of America. There's nothing to stop you doing that. So get your products, go and look for a supplier. In my case, I rung the supplier and said, do you drop ship? And they said, we don't know what you're talking about. We have no idea what that is. And then I explained that and said, look, you ship it directly to customer. And they said, yeah, we'll do that. You've got to pay for it first. And I said, well, of course I've got to pay for it first. But you'll ship it straight to customer, right? And they said, yeah, we'll do that. So sometimes the supplier does not know what drop shipping is, and they haven't thought about it. So it's up to you to find the supplier that works for you and has everything that you need. Approach them and persuade them that it's a good idea to do business your way and do business with you. And that's quite a good way of finding products that everybody else doesn't have, because they're all on AliExpress looking. They're all Googling who drop ships and then finding products that these people drop ship. The way I do it is I find the product and then I'll go and find a supplier that I can work with. And if they don't work in the way that I want, I'll try and persuade them until they do. And generally, if you pay for goods up front, which you have to anyway, the suppliers are happy to work with you. That's my tips for finding a product. That's my methodology for selecting the product. If you want to have a look at what I do, my site is www.katiesboutique.co.uk. It's K-A-T-Y-S, katiesboutique.co.uk. Between you and me and the 1,000 subscribers I have and the people who watch my videos, it's drop shipped. It is all drop shipped, and it's a drop ship Shopify business. It's drop shipped from Europe, not from China, so I don't have any issues with postage. All of the images are stock images. All of the products are drop ship products, and I keep no physical inventory. I just take the money off the customer and keep profit. So just that will give you an idea of what can be done if you have a little bit of an open mind with the products.